Oh man, OBS just like broke on me. I really hope that didn't. So, well, there's a 3-minute delay on the stream and your stream gets disrupted. Sometimes it doesn't show up right away. I'm assuming we are still live. I'm hoping nothing borked too badly, but we are getting into game number 1. This is a best of 3 continuation of yesterday's round robin. Some people have actually been expressing some, we'll call it confusion with the brackets. I'll try and walk you guys through that in a moment, but for now, let's get the intros done. Spotting to the top left, we have the blue Protoss player, Showtime. Some very interesting results out of him yesterday. In the bottom right, some amazing results out of him yesterday. We have the, of course, red Terran player, it's Heromarine. But okay, best of 3, we'll keep an eye on this probe. Quick explanation of the brackets, though. Round robin is not super conventional. Not a lot of tournaments do it. I, for one, have always strayed away from it because I've not liked how confusing it can be to follow the games. And worse yet, sometimes games don't even matter. You can get to the end of the group and be forced to play a best of 3 when you're already out. So, round robin, I know some folks are really unfamiliar with. The best way I can describe this is these guys are just playing and grinding as many games as possible. Obviously, series wins will matter a lot, but your map score can matter too. And what I mean by this is if you are tied in series score with somebody on the verge of going out, but you've had more wins and less losses, sometimes that can be what propels you forward. I don't know exactly what system WCS is using. I'm sure they have their rules and the players know about them, but as far as things go, I wouldn't concern myself too much with the brackets just yet. I would say in about 2 or 3 best of 3s, that's when you start really paying attention, because whether you're watching Wikipedia or just looking at results, it's going to start mattering because it will determine who moves on in the tournament and who's totally out. So, again, for these first couple games, well, actually, it's only, I forgot, Europe's only doing 3 matches today. For the first series today, I'd say don't worry about it. After that, start looking at Wikipedia. They'll probably have more up-to-date results, and you guys can get a better idea of who's going to advance and who isn't. Now, I haven't talked much in the openings, and I'm sure there's one person out there, if not a couple, that are upset, but let's be real, nothing too out of the ordinary yet. I say this with a huge asterisk, though, because Heromarine was throwing curveballs and mind games yesterday. Especially in his series versus Cyril, which, by the way, little self-advertisement, is up on the new YouTube channel, youtube.com/BaseTradeTV2. If you missed it yesterday, 10 out of 10 recommend watching the Heromarine Cyril series. But unfortunately, versus Protoss, I don't feel like you have as many options. Banshees are kind of something that have come in to be a flavor of the month, but as you'll notice, Heromarine hasn't actually gone for a starport quick. He went for a second barracks much faster. I'm really curious on this because there are a lot of 2-base plays Terran players like to go for, and if you can get ahead, sometimes you can turn it into a macro game after that. But this is Heromarine versus Showtime. Showtime, one of the best damn Protoss I've seen. Awkward results yesterday withheld. I really think Heromarines gonna have to work hard to get the victory here in this best of 3. Take a game, no problem. Take a series, much more difficult, I think. Also, big thank you to Part Gaming 2 for sub of the day. No, excuse me, Suchi B was, but then Part Gaming 2 came in. Dookie was a brand new sub, but just now we rocked in with Enterprise 90, 4 months and get well soon. Rifkin, thank you for the kind words. So it looks like we are going to have that tech lab end up be for a Banshee over here. The barracks ends up building its own. The single Cyclone for defense is not a bad move, and oh, the scan is so sick! Alright, I think he just denied vision of Showtime seeing this. Right, this is important. I want to throw out just how badly he needed to move one more grid space in to see whether it was a tech lab or what the deal was. Because now he's not going to know whether it's a Raven, whether it's a Banshee. He just sees the starport. And I hear that beautiful music. That means a top donate. Well, let's be honest, the first donation of the day. That's going to... Whoa! Whoa! Okay, yeah, that is a top donation. $100 dues from Stranger in a Strange Land 1. For the first few minutes of the first cast of the day. Thank you so much. He says, hey, take a break when you need it, man, and save esports again when you are fit. Well, I'm never going to be fit, quote unquote, but I will be better eventually. I'm definitely doing better each day, which is great, but I've still just got a problem in my lungs and a shortness of breath. That's the pneumonia for you. That's the bronchitis for you. That just takes time, so I'm working on it. But thank you so much, man. $100 is amazing. Now, it's a Raven, not a Banshee, as I had highlighted. And what's interesting is he pulls the starport off here fairly quickly. This means the barracks is going to be slapped back on, which means likely two tech labs. This is going to be the quick combat shields maybe, and he's going for a timing. Now, for Heromarines' sake, whether it's just pumping Marauders or whether it's actually like a timing attack, because he does have his +1 about a third of the way done at the moment, it's something where Showtime might get caught off guard. Protoss have really powerful units, we know this for sure, but unfortunately they're very expensive. So no matter what he's doing, and in this case it's Colossus, by the way, but no matter what he's doing, he's not going to have that many units out. And I think Heromarines hoping to be able to overwhelm just a little bit. A Colossus is certainly a lot less conventional, but just like the way Banshees and Cloak have come in to be pretty flavor of the month for Terran, we've actually been seeing more and more Colossus usage. I think Archons and Templar are still your core late game, but we've been seeing a couple of Colossus pumped out, sometimes followed up by like a single Disruptor. I just also really want to throw out here how that's the third Observer that's been picked off. This doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but look how, again, how little scouting Showtime has of Heromarine base. He has no idea about the army composition. He doesn't know about that third barracks, which is a really important catch. There's Widow Mines following this up too, and of course these Marauders, if done correctly, could sim on top of that Colossus. Now I say if, because he might just ignore it entirely. Raven can cast Interference Matrix on mechanical units, maybe shut that down while he fights the Gateway units. I don't know, but this is an incredible attack out of Heromarine. I love the idea behind it. Feedback on the Raven's big, but not before Interference Matrixes both of the Colossus. Showtime has literally a third of his army unable to attack. Widow Mines come down over here, guaranteed to get some shots as he walks away, stims over to the third, takes care of the shield battery, takes care of the pylon, grabbing a couple probes on the way out, maybe gonna focus the Nexus? There's a recall coming in too to save the probes. It's kind of a clutch move. Still 8 go down, and Heromarine sacrifices like what, a couple of Widow Mines for the attack? That went pretty damn well. The Raven usage there, like 10 out of 10, but that's of course not all he's got. He's got, this is a mishmash of units, 2 Marauders, 2 Widow Mines, and 2 Marines with 2 medevacs. Is this like a 2-2-2-2 build? Call it the ballerinas for all those 2-2s, but doesn't get much done with it, sadly. If Showtime had been overreacting and had all of his army down to the south, then that's something Heromarine would have been able to capitalize on. And I think he was really hoping that would be the case, but Showtime is pretty good at this game, guys. He's got a shield battery up here too to back up whatever few units he leaves in the main. And Heromarine got really aggressive, but not all in. I want to highlight that he did take a third base while this was going on. It's saturating now. Worker count still favors Showtime a little bit, but it's 3 bases to 3 bases. And a lot of times Terran get kind of stuck on a 2 base all in, and it's do or die. Now this is really interesting what's following up for Heromarine. A Ghost Academy's not so crazy. Love snipes, doubt we'll see nukes. If we do, hey, that's gonna be cool. But it's the second starport, and it's coming down here with reactors, so Viking's gonna get pumped out like crazy. Vikings are never really great units, but in this case, as a way to deal with the Colossus, not a bad option. Also, the Bert338, thank you for the 50-month sub. Not a lot of people get to brag that they have 50-month subs. I do, thanks to people like you. Now, the Viking, of course, he'll probably have like what? I'm going to imagine 10 by the time, a minimum, by the time he attacks, right? Maybe he does the Interference Matrix. Maybe he goes straight up Dorito Cannon. Anti-armor's I think anti-armor would be the better option, by the way. But the thing is, if the Vikings clear out the Colossus and they land, let's not forget, Vikings have incredible damage versus mechanical units specifically. Diving in for an Observer costs him a little bit, but frankly, Showtime has been playing blind for so much of this game because the Heromarine has been very dedicated to killing 4 Observers up to this point. Now, losing a couple Marauders for that, not technically worth it on paper, but I feel with how much he's denying that robo production, like, keep in mind, this is the 5th Observer being built. This could have been 2 Immortals, another Colossus, just like in the time it took to actually use the robo facility. Not to mention the gas costs associated with it. Observers are very cheap, but they still cost a lot of gas. So it's been really interesting watching Heromarine be so diligent about this. And I gotta say kudos. I think it's absolutely paid off for him. No Protoss player ever wants to play blind in StarCraft 2, and Showtime's been forced to play blind. Warp Prism down to the south was revealed, the Cyclone kind of on top of it for a brief second, but the main army doesn't really care. There's a lot of Vikings. I said 10 minimum. There you go. Got 4 Ghosts to go with this 2 EMPs. EMPs will actually be pretty fantastic. Vikings will need to do like 2 volley instead of 3 or 4, but look at those shots, guys. Even with the shield battery on top of that, Colossus still is definitely going to go down. Force fields missed the mark, so the army slips through. EMP grabs all the High Templar. No storms left, no force fields, no nothing. Colossus fall, land the Vikings. 20 damage a shot versus mechanical. These stalkers are going to go down. And the Marauders and Marines still hold strong. Heromarine at 95 army supply to Showtime's 44. Not looking good as he pulls the probes, and an exciting finish here for game number 1. Let's not forget there's more units rallied too, so even if Showtime holds off this first attack, that's not it. There's Liberators and there's more. This was an awesome game out of Heromarine. I'm super Terran biased, as you guys know, but I also know how strong Showtime is. So GG's, Heromarine claiming victory and absolutely deserving the heck out of it in this first game of the day. Now, one thing I do know is I'm not supposed to get overexcited. It'll throw me into coughing fits. I did have to mute several times during that game, and I'm always terrified I will forget to unmute afterwards, but oh, what a game to get excited for. I am willing to get sick and lose my lungs when you get to watch exciting StarCraft like that. That is a super 10 out of 10 game for me. Again, Terran bias and the fact that I'm a fan of Big Game. But map number 2 on Port Alexander. What's this now? Yes, I'm on like super babysitter duty. I gotta make sure like all the other language casters are in here. I gotta get the Blizzard observers in here. Give me 1 sec here, guys. Tosh, it's Tosh SC85. Thank you for the 8 months. Oh, this is gonna take some time to recover. I got way too excited. Oh, that hurt. But okay. Little shout out to Marine Lord in the chat, by the way. Hey, dude, been a bit of time, but good to see you. I think this might just be a teammate of Showtime. Okay. Yeah, not supposed to be in the lobby. Get out of here, Shoo. Go on, get. All right, players say they're ready. Let's not dilly-dally. Port Alexander for game number 2. All right, it's game number 2 for the WCS Winter. It is, of course, still that round of 8, that round robin, and spawning here in the top left side of the map, taking a loss for the first game. We do have the red Protoss Showtime. Is opponent at the bottom right side going to be the blue Terran, up 1-0 at the moment. In a pretty good showing for game 1. We have Big Game, it's Heromarine. I want to tell a little Heromarine story. It's not super related to StarCraft, and we got, I actually got to meet Heromarine at BlizzCon. I don't know if that was the first time we met, but it was definitely the first time we really hung out. And one of the big things with some of the Blizzard Europe folks were taking people to dinner. I managed to tag along because I was hanging out with the Europeans, like Loco and Lawardi and such. And of course, Heromarine was there. And we went to this pizza place. It wasn't like California Pizza Kitchen or anything like that. It was just some like pizza place on the street. But point of this is, I'm a big guy, many of you know. We each get a personal pizza. Okay, cool. I can barely finish mine. I ended up giving my like last slice to Loco, I think, or somebody. I just Winter maybe, I can't remember. But the point is, I couldn't even finish the pizza. It was so big, it's so delicious. Heromarine, guy's maybe 3/4 my height, skinny as a twig, lovable. Not only eats his whole first pizza, but he goes back for seconds because he's a madman. And I'm just sitting there in awe, like, wait, what? How does that even fit? And then I think it was like, I think Dennis for Take TV's like, they don't call him Big Gabe for nothing. But yeah, Heromarine, I love it. You know, he's been streaming and rocking and rolling. He's had some pretty good results in terms of games. Map number 1 here doesn't mean he's going to win the series for sure, but it is a great start because I saw a lot of things that I think are just mechanically done correctly. 1 sec. One of the big things to highlight, as I brought up several times in that game, the Observer denied 3 times. Thrice! Showtime was unable to scout what Heromarine was doing. seeing a Terran with a second barracks that quickly is, I think, worth the scout, and unfortunately just wasn't able to get it. And the cool thing about it is I don't think any of the observers were particularly predictable like an Overlord would be. He just looked for the blur. He saw it and reacted so well. So again, for me, what I loved about that, it wasn't cheese and it wasn't luck. Heromarine just played that game absolutely correctly, and I think if he can do it again, my opinion of him not being able to beat Showtime in a full series is totally going to change. Now, again, I'm a little biased just because I've seen so much of Showtime and I've seen how good he can be, right? Not trying to say Heromarine bad. I'm just trying to highlight just how good Showtime is in my head. But he's had some interesting results so far, as I mentioned previous, so not everybody in this tournament's infallible. We've seen some of the big names take some early losses, but again, it's round robin. There's a lot of games being played, a lot of best of threes for these guys to have to go through. Widowmine comes out here pretty quick. He'll be able to pretty much deter most of these early attacks with this alone. The Stalkers aren't going to risk taking a loss here. At least not until Blink is done. And hey, by the way, Blink is coming up. This isn't super unconventional like it is in PvP, but it's definitely not the go-to, I think, in a lot of cases, unless you're willing to get a little bit aggressive. Sometimes we see Blink come out defensively because you're chasing down Medivacs and Banshees, but I'm really curious on not the fact that he went Blink. I think it's fine that he went Blink. I'm curious on the decision as to why, though. Nickel says, it's my first time watching this stream. Well, he says, Stram. These intros are so good. I'm glad you like them. I make them myself, dude. Make sure you hit that follow button if you enjoy the show today. Wait till you see King's Cove. That's the one that's going to get you. That's the one that's going to make you follow the channel. Anyways, Widowmine lands over here. There's nothing for it to really go off on. Then that's fine. Showtime will likely try and bait this out with a probe. We'll see if Heromarine goes for the unburrow or the focus fire with the Marines. Goes for the unburrow. Wants to use this on like the Stalkers or something, just not on that probe. Nicely done with that focus fire and that Medivac micro too. I'm sure many of you just caught that. Saving one of those Marines. Very nicely done. Widowmine does end up popping off on the Stalker. Blink. Oh, Blink is so close to done. If Blink was finished, he kills that Medivac and all the Marines. But timing-wise, doesn't work out for him. I think he had recalled, by the way, the Stalkers on the other side of the field, or maybe he walked them home. I wasn't quite paying attention. I was so enamored by the micro coming out of Heromarine. But Showtime taking a rough start here. That depowering the gateway sucks a little bit. It's a great thing he can finish up Warp Gate, though, because if the Cyber Core is depowered, he's still researching warp ins. That'd be terrible. But a couple more gateways going to come down. Replacing this base, I mean, he had pulled most of the probes away. Not a lot actually died in that attack. 3 in total. Got that Raven as well, again, here for game 2. Interference Matrix is really useful when you do it correctly, and we saw it done very well in game 1. I gotta imagine he does it just as well here in game 2. But this time around, Showtime got a lot better scouting, and it's because he didn't rely on an observer, he went for hallucination. So, he got to see the barracks count, he got to see the base count, didn't see the engineering bay, but that's not that big of a deal. You can kind of expect Terran to be pushing out that +1. I don't know any pro Terran players who play with naked Marines with no upgrades. A single Hellion manages to weave itself into the base. I don't think it's going to get too many probe kills here, but it should get some okay scouting. It's a little too fast to catch. If he moves over a little bit to the left, he'll see the Twilight Council. And he sees the Templar Archives anyways. Great scout out of Heromarine. 100 minerals down to lose that Hellion feels bad, man, but the scouting, I think, was absolutely worth it. Especially for the non-Terrans out there to consider. Yeah, you've got scan, and you could possibly just scan the main base. But the idea of this is, you're not losing minerals per se, but you're losing out on the opportunity for minerals when you do that. A mule, instead of a scan, is going to mine you like 200 to 250 minerals. So it's so much more cost effective. And I know it's weird to think about, but it's more cost effective to lose that Hellion for a great scout than it is for a scan. Also, a strange warp prism has been set up here. The Marine, I'm not sure if he saw it. I don't think he saw it, but it's in a good position to have seen it. But there's a sentry in this with zealots. So one of two things is going to happen. He's going to come to the mineral lines, force field the SCVs in, and shred them to bits with the blades of ire. Or maybe he takes a fight closer to the ramp, puts the force field there. But there's so many medevacs for Heromarine, I don't think the force field will stop him from reinforcing his own base. So, to me, this just looks like it's going to be more related to the mineral lines. I love this missile turret coming down. It will certainly help deter where the warp prism goes. Single Marine over here. A literal Heromarine as he grabs a probe. And a little bit of scouting. Forces a warp in, but the zealots will kill him. Feels bad, man. Oh, what have you done? Marauder should be able to take care of the small stock or harass, but if anything, this is just, I think, meant to be a bit of a distraction. That Warp Prism to go in, but I guess not going to take that opportunity. Third base is set up now to Heromarine 2. Nicely done. Not being slowed down by this early harass. 3 ghosts coming out here very quick. You know, he did that Ghost Academy last game. I thought that was because he was really scared of the Colossus, but I guess just versus Protoss, faster ghosts. I mean, EMP is great anyways. I've probably missed a couple of subs here because, again, I'm a terrible streamer when I'm sick. But Mysix, thank you for the 27 months. Is glad you're back. Glad to be back. Dedicated Duck, I think I owe you a Patreon cast still. I'm sorry, man. I've been just so out of it for this entire month. Thank you for the 8 months. Is my parents read the book I was writing. They said the main character wasn't likable. It was an autobiography. Oh, I'm sorry. I know that's supposed to be a joke, but I'm going to pretend it's real. It feels bad, man. I like you. Dr. Fishmonger. Why would you be a fishmonger? Much less have a doctorate in it. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Okay, Showtime's got that Warp Prism still floating around. It's still a very strange Warp Prism to me. Like 1 Sentry and 3 Marine, or 3 Zealots. I mean, the Zealot's fine. It's the Sentry that throws me for a bit of a loop. After realizing the gateway was still in power, by the way, we finally did put a pylon up there. A lot of Templar out in play. That's where these ghosts are going to be really effective. It's tough to say what's better. In some cases, if you've got the high ground, you can take advantage of the steady targeting and go for the snipes on the Templar. And killing these is always better than EMPing these, right? Because you EMP them, then they just turn into Archons, and you need like 3 more EMPs to deal with it. But as long as you remove Storm from play, I think that's the big goal here. Warp Prism takes a lot of damage from that missile turret. I'm not sure if Heromarines aware this is here, though. Oh, he's looking for the attack right now. Big EMPs land on that Archon. How? This thing has 1 health. Archons have 10 health, period. This thing got away with 1? That's impressive. Goes back at home, get a big EMP off on the Zealots. Widowmine's gonna go for the shots too. Friendly fire kills 8 SCVs. Feels awful, man. But looks like the Viking will take care of the Warp Prism. It's gonna die to the turret anyways. 12 SCVs dead, though, in a lot of chaos. It's disrupting the reinforcements. This ended up being not too bad for Showtime. But we'll see if it ends up really being worth it here on the other side of the map. Dorito cannon fires, and these Zealots are painted orange. Of course, it does affect their shields too. If you guys don't know, that -3 armor doesn't just apply to the base armor, it also takes away from the plasma shield. So everything about this attack, oh, anything painted orange is just gonna take mega damage. Goes to the sacrifices the Marauder to get the last shots on that Archon. Love it. Pulling back from the fight, hoping the Widowmines get some okay shots. There's going to be feedbacks going down on the medevacs. We still have that Raven. Let's not forget, it's got about 81 energy. It's another anti-armor missile just waiting to happen. The first one wears off duration-wise. Siege Tank shooting away at the Templar for the reinforcements. Whoa, he uses Interference Matrix on a Templar. I always forget you can use it on psionic units. Not going to stop the Templar from doing much. I think anti-armor would have been a little bit better personally, but Heromarine keeps up the aggression. He's up about 40 army supply right now, but most of his army is almost dead. Like, one really good storm could execute a lot of these units. Those tanks in the back are sitting on pretty much no kills, but they've done a ton of damage this game. And those reinforcements have finally made it to the front line. They were so delayed from that Warp Prism attack from earlier. I believe Heromarine has not seen that observer, so Showtime's going to get that vision to see that reinforcement line just chugging along. I do want to highlight the way Heromarines handling his units right now. You'll notice he's only grabbing about like 4 or 5 Marauders and sending them in. These units can survive a storm. Marines cannot. So, these being on the front line, yeah, you might lose 1 or 2 of them, but they're more likely to get out alive than those Marines. The Widowmines fire off once again, still up 30-something army supply. Ghosts, not enough energy to EMP, but those tanks creeping forward a little bit. Now have some room to go for those pickoffs. Templar sitting here on 2 health, probably best off making it into an Archon at this point. Couple Disruptors coming out. Didn't realize the tech swap was coming up for Showtime. Disruptors are really annoying to deal with if you're Terran. Actually, these Disruptors are so powerful. Paired up with the Storms, he might be able to just beat the shit out of Heromarines' army. Pardon my French, guys, but it could get dangerous depending how these shots go. So far, not so good. EMP's not there, so the Storms end up blanketing a lot of that army. Most of Heromarines' front line's gone, but he's still trading out well with Showtime. Disruptor looking for that magic shot, though. Creeps a little too close to the front line, so it is going to get targeted down. Tank's finally been dealt with. Took a long time to make that happen. But while this goes on, the resources lost, traded out, it's pretty much dead even. Income-wise, it's been pretty steady, too. I'll take a look at the graph here in just a hot second. That was a great Widowmine shot, by the way. Yeah, it looks like income's been all over the place. The key difference is Showtime now going for a 4th base. Heromarine could lift his main. Doesn't appear as if he has plans to take an actual third. But what an exciting battle. We lucked out on our first series today with some great... This guy out there named Carey. Thank you so much for giving me this match, man. All right, another small segment of units just hunting forward. Grabs the observer. Hey, that's nicely done. Again, man, Eagle Eye Gabe can see these observers. Not this one, but it's just so good at catching those with that quick scan. Marine over here just looking for a little bit of information. Somehow gets past the stalkers. Same down here. He'll see that caught up here on that fourth base. Confirming this will either prompt Heromarine to take his own fourth, which he's actually just started as I speak, or he'll I'll go heavier on the all-in. Either way, he's coming up with +3 weapons. He's got some Liberators now. The game is starting to turn around as players keep introducing different lines of tech. But, oh, these Liberators are not pre-set up. He doesn't know about the position of this army. And he's just moved out, so it's a little bit awkward. The Liberators fly right over top of an Archon. Ghosts unprotected. So expensive, so good, but big EMPs! The entire army loses their shields. Disruptor's going to keep the army from chasing in. That's good because Heromarine, with those EMPs, made it so Showtime just could not sustain a fight. Okay, Marine saw that. I was just double checking. Pushing through the middle map's a little bit dangerous. Some of this now is going to come down to picking and choosing your battles. There's nothing to fight over here in the middle of the map. But if you can set a siege up and pressure a fourth or a third base, that's a different story altogether. Liberators, of course, are going to eat storms. They don't really care so much about that. Does he have Liberator range? No Liberator range for this. Just basic Liberators. Disruptor shots are getting okay damage done. Beauty is, for Showtime, the clock ticks harder on Heromarine than it does on Showtime in this case. Things like storms generating and disruptor cooldowns make that he's going to be able to wait better for battles and engagements, but at the same time, there's just no easy way to deal with these Liberators right now. Comes in for the fight, takes out that first line. Zealots taking care of the units on the ground. Liberators get a couple block shots there, but the Stalker count is going to deal with the Liberators on the top side. Wait a minute, maybe. Okay, that blink and a little bit of focus fire worked out well. Both players being beaten to death here, but Showtime's on 30 army supply. Warping in gateway units desperately, but Marauders are pretty good against most gateway units. You can kite those Zealots. Liberators are set up for the zone. Last couple Stalkers going down. 2 Disruptors on the way, but nowhere close to done. GG's get called, and oh my god, Marine just took a 2-0 over Showtime. Excuse me. Look, guys, I'm in love with you. Showtime is not having great results when we cast them on the channel. Maybe we're the jinx. I don't know. But yesterday had some interesting wins, losses. Today loses his first series versus Heromarine. I gotta be honest, I thought Showtime was one of the, like, you got people like Showtime and Cyril. You just assume top 2 of the group, right? No, Showtime's actually gonna, like, probably finish 3rd or 4th at best at this rate. I'm a little worried for him, to be honest. I don't know how all of his results have been, and I haven't looked at the brackets myself, but just knowing that he lost 0-2 to Lambo yesterday, he ended up barely inching out a victory versus Rail 2-1, now 0-2 to Heromarine. Like, Showtime doesn't have a perfect score by any stretch of the imagination. Super congratulations to Heromarine, who is doing exceptionally well too, from what we've seen. And I'm excited to see what the results of today end up looking like. But good luck, have fun to both, I suppose. I know that I have a little bit of a Terran bias that I lean towards Terran, guys. But honestly, I do truly wish everybody in the group the best of luck. There's so many good players. But okay, our next matchup is going to be Raynor versus Rail. I'm not sure when that starts. Typically, we've had to wait a couple of rounds for like other... Like yesterday, we had to wait for other matches to finish up and what have you. But yeah, Raynor versus Rail should be coming up. Now, I'm going to unfortunately do the same practice as I did yesterday where my voice, I'm going to try and save as much as I can. So we're going to go to commercial break. First big commercial break of the day. And I'm just going to leave the break screen up until we have information on when Raynor and Rail can start. Once I know that, I'll come back, I'll update you guys, and I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first series. If you did, be sure to hit the follow button on the channel. And if you missed out on any of the matches yesterday, youtube.com/BaseTradeTV2 is in the number 2. As I've uploaded about half of the matches already over there. And the big one I'd recommend is if you liked Heromarines games now, you should see his match versus Cyril. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit.